welcome back to Bridal Sewing Techniques, and today we're going to learn how to repair damaged boning. Okay, so your bride, when she comes out of the fitting room and has a strapless on, she should be kind of in there, nice and locked in. Everything nice and neat, okay? Well, a little bit of cleavage maybe, you know. Everything is very smooth through here. Her bust seams are princess seams. Technically, originally, I think the purest form of princess seams actually fed into the arm side. But a lot of times you'll hear these front bust seams being referred to as princess seams. And just saying bust seams and bridal can get a little complicated because sometimes we do have, you know, multiple sets of seams. And so the ones that kind of go to this crest and go right over the apex of the bust, those are generally the ones we're referring to when we say princess seams, okay? So this is how it should look, and you've got boning running along inside here, doing its job. Everything is great. Sometimes there's a few sticks even here, okay? And the next thing you know, the bride sits down to put on her shoes, and she bends at the waist, which she should not do. And so you come out from the back room to see her, and now she is looking like this. And let me tell you, she is just giving away the farm. She's got massive cleavage going on. Okay. There is a break in the boning here. Not literally broken, but it's a kink from the side. The dress is like this instead of like this. Okay, this is how it looks from the side, and so this part is kind of moving up and down instead of staying stationary. So this is how it looks when you come out and you're like, oh, that's a far cry from that. But her boning isn't truly broken, and there's really an adequate amount in there. It's just when she bent, she put a crease in there and it's all kinked up. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch over to some video that I took of a gown that this happened to. Now, most of you can understand that I don't want to use real life pictures of these because this would be very indecent. This is not a good look, and I'm just not putting it on my channel. So I just did a little sketch instead. This is plenty clear for you, and then I'm going to show you the inside of the dress. You are going to be able to see very obviously the kinks in the boning, and we don't have to actually replace the boning in this case. I do have a video of how to replace the broken boning or the bent boning. There is a video to that. I will link to it down below if you want to see that. But I'm going to show you rather how to just add some more boning to what's there. We're just gonna lash the extra boning on top of what's there, and that way you're still using the strength of the boning that was there previously, but it's not gonna bend like this again. And then you not only need to repair the boning, but you also need to train the bride that under no circumstances is she going to bend at the waist or hunch over. If she needs to put her shoes on, she needs to be standing and have someone else help her put her shoes on. Or she can sit in a chair. She can kind of lean back in a chair like this and hold her foot out for somebody. Okay? So if you can picture that. Lean back in a chair. This is her arm. Stick figure arm. But keep this core nice and straight. That's how she's going to put her shoe on, or if she needs to sit or anything, she's only going to bend at the hip and the knee, and she's going to keep her upper body perfectly straight. It is tiresome, but she needs to put on that princess posture for the day. So yeah, I'm going to hop over and show you how to lash that boning down, and that's going to fix this problem. It's going to take it from this to this. It's going to look like this again. All right, so let's zoom across the inside of this bodice. Now, this is not going to be against her skin. This is between the layers, so nobody ever sees it. It doesn't have to be sewn perfectly. These sticks of boning were originally sewn on when the bodice was not attached to the skirt, and you could actually get to the lining of the dress. At this stage, you can't put the dress under the sewing machine and sew it down. So I'm just going to show you how to lash it down to the old pieces of boning. Here's the boning that I have cut out, and I just used the boning that was already in the dress as a guide. And here's my little box of muslin stoppers. I just take muslin fabric and cut it in 1 by 1 inch square roughly, toss them in, and they're there when I need them. Now I've sped this up a little bit so it doesn't get too boring. You can tell what's going on here. I am sewing the caps onto the boning. This is to prevent the stays from coming out the end of the boning. You guys that follow me, you've seen me do this quite a lot, but this is kind of a fast way rather than starting and stopping for each stick. You just keep on going, and then in the end, you can cut them all apart. So here I am doing the other end, and just zip them right through. Sometimes too, the gowns have plenty of seams on the inside, and you can machine sew the boning back down on those seam allowances that are split open. That's a wonderful thing, but a lot of times the boning is placed in places that just are not a seam, and so we're going to have to sew them down. Here I'm using my handy dandy razor to break it apart. And then I'm going to take these sticks of boning and I'm going to pin them down to the inside of the bodice. I'll let you see how that looks. I'm stacking it on the old boning. I'm not pulling the old boning out. The only place where that boning is tired is right that one crease going across. And here's my thread I'm using, a nice thick thread. So the rest of the boning is usable. Just that one little kink in it is not great, so we're just going to kind of buttress things a little bit. So I've got myself a nice long thin needle, and I'm starting off by going through this inner lining is like a thick cotton canvas, and I'm knotting my thread here, and I'm just going to take a big zigzag back and forth just to lash the two together. Now I would not do something that looks this rough on the inside of the gown. If it was, say, the inside of the lining that's going to be against her skin where she could feel this or see this, this would be really ugly work for that. But with it being between the layers, it doesn't matter. The thread is nice and strong. Nothing is going to be lumpy enough to be visible on the outside of the dress. This is a lace overlay dress with quite a few layers, so this is going to be just fine. A lot of times in bridal, it's really about thinking ahead and knowing, where can I save time? Where do I really need to invest my time? Bridal alterations can be so expensive, and you don't want to charge them needlessly. So this was a bride who was on a very tight budget. She was very, very disappointed that she bent this boning, and it was she was pretty much at the end of what she could spend. So this is a very quick repair, very affordable repair that's going to go a long way. This is going to make her dress much stronger. I'm also using the 1/2 inch wide boning now instead of, this had the 1/4 inch on those princess seams. That was not adequate. So here I've done all the stitching that I need to do, and I'm just cementing my knots with that hypo cement so that they don't come undone. And I've also left nice long tails on my threads. That's gonna prevent the knots from coming undone too. Again, it won't be seen, so it doesn't matter. If it would be seen, I would hide those tails. And here I've zoomed in so you can see the stitches. They are quite orderly, and they're holding everything down. And I put the dress on her, and it's working beautifully. Please hit like, share, and subscribe if I helped you. Leave some comments down below for me.